YouTube. So this video today, well, I want to have a chat with you guys all about equipment, starter equipment. What do you need when you first start your gardening business? And as you can tell, this is another episode of starting the gardening business series. Remember, it's not a how-to, but what it is it's hopefully tips and tricks, and I'll tell you some of the funny stories that has happened to me along the way. So I think when you first start out, I think you need to keep it simple. Now, if you are starting out and you want to do lawn renovations from the very start, then you need niche equipment. Scarifiers, spreaders, training, PA1, PA6. It's up to you to sort out. We're working on that you're going to be a general gardener. You're going to be offering general gardening services, grass cutting, hedge cutting, mowing, strimming, garden tidy-ups, winter tidy-ups, border work, weeding work, general gardening duties. So what do you need? I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to tell you brands per se or what to buy, but my opinion on what I think you'll need to set you up as a gardener. So first off, my mentality is buy the best quality kit that you can afford that's in your budget. So if it is that you've got a set budget, you've got to get that budget to spread, haven't you? If you've only got a certain amount tucked away or put away, that you can't make something out of nothing. So buy the best that you can afford. Now, is that second hand or is that brand new? Now, if you are a bit of a tinkerer, you know your way around the tools, you basically, if you can fix stuff, go for it, buy second hand gear. Because you can diagnose it, you can see it coming, you can think, oh, bloody hell, that wudger-gudging on that strimmer sounds a bit funny, I'll get it replaced. I haven't got that. I don't know much about tools at all, for being honest with you. I can get by, I can service it, but if I had to strip a carb down, I'd probably bollocks it, to be fair. So play to your strengths. If you can repair stuff and you've got an eye for a bargain, you can go to see a great big pile of tools and you can see what's got potential and what hasn't. I would say go for it. Now, me though, on the other hand, I haven't got that. So what I decided to do is I bought, so there's 2 points. When I was looking after the holiday accommodation, I'd buy whatever tool I need to get the job done. So I used to buy the cheapest I could. So when I started my gardening business, I actually had a lot of cheap equipment. So I had cheap rakes, cheap tools, whatever. And I quickly realised that they just break. A cheap tool will work out the box straight away. But will it work out the box in 6 months' time? Probably not, for being honest with you. Might do, it might not. But it's cursed. It'll let you down when you least expect it. Probably when you need it the most. So factor that in. For my first equipment, I had a second-hand strimmer, and that thing itself was a second-hand strimmer. I bought 2 of them because the bloke said, do you want the other one? So I had one for parts, and I managed to keep that going while I was at the holiday place. But problems with that. Just before I left the holiday place, I was in the position where I bought myself a combi strimmer. So I had the still combi system, and I was over the moon with that. Actually, I thought that was a really nice piece of equipment. So I started my gardening journey with petrol gear. We'll talk about cordless later on. I started with petrol gear. Why did I go for still? Because I had still dealers nearby, and also that's what I saw the professionals use. It's like branding, they're good at getting the brand out. It's like, if you're going to buy a drill, you'll buy a Makita. It's stuff like that stays with you. The layman who doesn't know about tools, they'll know that a Makita drill is a good drill because that's what they see on tally. You know what I mean? So I went with the still gear because I had to support the dealer network around me, and that's what I decided to go for. So you need, or I think you need a mower, a strimmer and a blower when you first start out, and surprise, a set of hedge trimmers. handheld. That's what I think to get you going you need. Mower, a strimmer, a blower, that will do your lawns. You can put an Oregon blade or mulching blade on your strimmer, and you can thrash back jungle gardens. You know, you can do whatever you want with those things. And a hedge trimmer, a handheld hedge trimmer, you can then start tackling the small shrubs in people's gardens. You can then start tackling, you know, with a set of step ladders, the bigger sort of hedges. That will pretty much cover your mechanical needs for most jobs. Now, I bought cheapo tools, like shitty, you know, hand tools and stuff like that, and they were just a pain in the arse, if I'm being honest with you. So again, this is up to you now, but again, your sort of choice here. I wish now, if I could do my time again, I would buy Wolf-Garten from the very get-go, because before Wolf-Garten, I had a rake, a hoe, a brush, you know, I had all the tools, and there were just brush heads everywhere. Nightmare. The Wolf-Garten system, it is pricey, but I tell you what it's good for. Relatives at Christmas time and birthday time, if you don't know what get you, I'll just get as a Wolf-Garten head. Which one do you want? You pick. You know, and they're in everybody's budget for a gift. So again, I found that quite useful. That's, you know, if that's not your cup of tea, but yeah, I found that quite useful. So go with, you know, whatever tools you choose as well. So brand wise, I'm saying I like Stihl. I love Stihl. Do I think they're the best brand out there? No, because I've not used the best brand. I've used what I think's the best brand. But if someone else come along that was better, well, I'd be by it. You know, I'd say, well, actually, this is better. You need to pick as well what dealer networks around you, especially if you're going to be, well, even if you're buying second hand, well, you can get the parts online, I suppose. But if you're buying brand new, yes, you can buy everything online. You can get, so it's like, for me, I like the look of them it's easier mowers. They look really smart. They look like the Cockford Ollie. But there's no Artesia dealers near to me, so it'd be ludicrous for me to buy one, because it will, you know, if I buy a brand new and I can get it shipped to me on a pallet, no problem. But who's going to service it? Who's going to repair it when it goes wrong? I can't put it on a pallet. Oh, I could do, but it'd be costing me money. So Stihl for me as well, because there's loads of Stihl dealers near to me. So that was another choice for me to make, to go to Stihl. So pick what network. If you've got only Husky dealers or Artesia dealers, maybe it's better for you to go for something like that, because then you've got the backup and the support that, you know, you're going to need when things go wrong, basically. So as I said, pick what's that you're happy with, that's in your budget, and also what you can sort of, you know, see around you. Now, this is where I might come undone. Don't get tempted by the brands that you see. So you see, like, so I'd say the main brands of like Stihl, Husky, Artesia, you know, stuff like that, and then Honda, you know. But then you see like Stiga, you know, Hyundai, you know, you see these other like import brands that are selling, you know, petrol gear. It's like when I went to Saltex, there were so many brands I've never heard of that had all manner of kit, and it looked nice, but who's going to repair it? You know, it's all online. Yes, it might last a season, it might last 50 seasons, but when it needs repairing, you know, there's not going to be any bugger to repair it, basically, or they won't want to repair it. So think of it like that. I know of a gardener, he's got a completely different way of doing things than I have, but every year he'll go to Screwfix, he'll buy one of those Titan multi-tool sets, you know, the hedge trimmer, chainsaw, strimmer, whatever. He'll buy whatever the biggest mower he can get from Screwfix, and he'll use that for a year. Leaf blower, everything from Screwfix. He'll use that for a year. If it has any problems, he'll go and get it repaired because it's got a warranty, whatever, and he'll just get an exchange, basically. He says to me he's never had to do that because it's lasted the full season. What does he do at the end of the season? He either throws it away or gives it away, and he does the same thing again the next season. Maybe that's an option. It's not for me, if I'm being honest with you. It's not something I'd like to do. And this is the thing now, if you're young and you're fit, pay attention to like vibration, noise, you know, because if you do 10 years of a bone shaker tool, you probably won't feel any problems off it, but when you get to 60 or 70, you will. Same with your hearing. Wear hearing protection. Like, I use the Still ones because they can play me music and my AirPod, you know, and I can listen to music in them and podcasts. So think about that. Think about your body early on. I think petrol gear's got its place. For me, with using cordless, I couldn't go back to it, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't think I've got a problem with vibration, but when I do use anything with a lot of vibration, I have a lot of tingling in my fingers for a couple of days, and it gets worse the more I use it. I have to be careful with power washing because that can be quite, you know, vibrating. And yeah, you just got to think of your body. Same with noisy stuff. And often these cheaper tools, they will do the same, but there's less effort spent on getting them where they aren't as, you know, vibrating, they aren't as loud. So often they're more loud, more vibrating, more smelly. I don't know what it is. I find, like, my boss, he used to buy the cheapest tools possible, and he also used to buy the cheapest two-stroke mix. And again, buy the good quality stuff, because the real cheap shit, the one where it's in like a cooking oil bottle and it just stinks, it just smells like emphysema and like fossil fuels, it just stinks, it does. Just don't cut corners on it. Where I used to work, they used to use motor oil, old engine oil, as bar and chain lubricant, so for chainsaws. So you're cutting trees and you'd be covered in shit like oil. That's a carcinogen. Don't cut corners. I'm not saying you would, but I'm just giving you an example. Just don't cut corners. You only get one. I know I'm no picture of health here, but I am healthy and I've got no problems. I've got no ailments now. But don't take your body for granted. I know I'm fat and I look like I'm diabetic, but I'm not. But don't take your body for granted. That's what I'm saying. You've got to think about your body now, and what will get you later is what will be knackering you up in these formative years. So, mower, strimmer, blower, edge cutter, covered. Wolf garden stuff, buy it, cover it. If you don't, I'd say rake, border spade, border shovel. I like a border spade, and I like a shovel, like a big shovel. A hoe. You need edging, something to edge, or me personally, I am for and against cocking the strimmer over. It's got its place, but there's times where you haven't got that option. I'd say get a combi system. Most people, when they start out, have got small vans. The combi system's a game changer because you can split it. You can buy a good engine, and you could, you know, if you have a good month, you can buy a pole saw, or you might have a job that comes in where you've got a lot of, you know, higher up edge cutting. Just buy the edge cut attachment instead of buying a separate one. You don't want to be having loads and loads of duplicates of, you know, the combi stuff I find really good. And as well, I still own all my combi stuff from years ago, and it still works just as good now. It goes into my cordless stuff, so I'm using old gen combi that I used to use in my petrol gear in my cordless, you know, latest cordless one in there. So again, think about that. So yeah, I'd say if I was doing it again, well, I did the right. I got a combi system. Get a combi system, so much easier. You've got the room to grow, the room to add stuff on with a combi system. Mower, is size better? Should I go straight in and get a 21 incher? Probably, honestly, no. I'd say get a 17. I know it sounds controversial, but you can do a big lawn mower. 21 is excellent at big lawns, but it struggles on small lawns. The small lawns, it's just a ball ache. It shreds them up. It's just a lot harder with a smaller mower, with a big mower on a small lawn. But the flip side to that is a small mower, or a smaller mower, is just as good on a big lawn as it is a smaller. It's going to take you that little bit longer. But yeah, my favourite still mower is the 17-inch roller, and I've put my name down this year for a 17-inch 4-wheel mower because it's just the right size for me. Don't get me wrong, when I've got a big lawn to do, you've got to use the right tool for the right job. When you're first starting out, you haven't got the spread of tools, you haven't got the choice of a mower, you've got one mower, so you have to make do. So don't sort of hem yourself in by buying the biggest mower. Get something where you can do a lot with it, as opposed to not a lot, because you will get postage stamp size lawns, and trust me, if you trim them, it's not the nicest finish. It can be done, but yeah, I like a little 17-inch mower. To me that's the Goldilocks, or maybe in that way I've got a 19, but to me 17 is the right compromise, right size, nice and light, does the job. Do you need commercial gear? Absolutely no, in my opinion, if I'm being honest with you. The still cordless range that I have is marked up as professional. I don't think it's commercial, but they say it's professional. I don't own anything else which is quote commercial. I don't believe I do. Do you need a commercial mower? No. It depends actually. I suppose if you're setting up at grass and you're just doing grass, maybe get the commercial one, but I don't think you need it, if I'm being honest with you. I've used all of my mowers on a quote commercial basis, where they've mowed multiple lawns every single day for 3 or 4 years, and they've been fine. I looked at it, here's an example. The still commercial mowers, £2,000. I think most commercial mowers now, when you get to top spec commercial, they're around about £2,000. If you've got that much money burning a hole in your pocket, I would say look at spend that £2,000 and get a still 6 series mower, nice 21, and then get a dinky 17-inch, and you'll have change out of that £2,000 then, and you've got 2 smashing mowers. You just need kit that'll last you. You don't want, and that's another thing, if your kit lets you down, it costs you money. When you're not using it, you're having to cancel jobs, you start seeing it. So this is when things start happening and you then think, right, what do I do? This is when spares come into play. I've got a spare of everything, because I've had it where my edge trimmers are broke when it's edge trimming season and I can't get the right set or the one that I want. My scarifier broke just as the scarifying season started. You name it. I can guarantee there'll be mowers that I want now that are in stock, but when I need them they won't. You know what I mean? It's sod's law. So I'd say don't do it when you first start, because it's ludicrous. But trust me, as you get going, you will add to your kit. You'll have more mowers, you'll have more stuff, because you'll understand the benefit of having spare stuff around you. Next one is ornamental tools. Now, if it is, so I've got stuff that I don't use that looks at me in a container every time I go in and fucking laughs at me. I'm not gonna lie. And it's a hard one, it's a bitter pill to swallow. So I think good investments, long reach hedge trimmer, brilliant investment. Tripod ladders, brilliant investment. Scarifier to a degree, but I often find the scarifier is just a start. You start needing other stuff, spreader to put the seed down, spreader to put the feed down, compost roller to put you start needing other stuff. You don't need these niche tools right away when you start. If you've got a bit of money, say if you budget for tools and you've got a couple of grand left over, you don't need to go out and spend it. It's better in the bank earning 2p interest than it is buying a brand new tool with it and you're losing the VAT and the depreciation off it. So don't be tempted by these niche tools. I've done it. I remember when I first started, I bought a Toro Time Master. God knows why. It was I was trolling eBay and I saw one. It was a good bargain, to be fair. And actually, when I sold it, I made a little bit of money on it. But I think I used it twice on a job, and it was, at the time, it was a real ball ache. I could deal with one now, but I don't know why I bought it. I really don't. I think I just saw it and I thought, oh, you know, monkey like that, monkey have that. So again, don't be tempted by these shiny tools. It is. I often look, I'll be honest with you, I look at the commercial spec stuff because I like my gear, I like my tools. I look at these commercial stuff and these nice tools, and I think to myself, well, I don't need them and I won't get the full benefit of them. So the next thing I'll talk about before I shoot off is look after your kit. Whatever you do, look after it. I made the decision early on. I remember I went into the dealer and I had mower, I think I had a couple of mowers. Well, I had a shitty Mountfield 15 and a less shitty 21 Mountfield. I had strimmer, blower, hedge trimmer. No, I didn't have a hedge trimmer, sorry, I had the combi stuff. And I went in and I said, oh, I'd like these tools servicing, please. And he gave me an estimate, and my jaw hit the ground. And I said, what do you do on a service? Like, what is it you actually do? He says, oh, and this was the shit dealer, I've mentioned him in previous videos. He says, oh, well, what we do is we get it up on a bench and we give it a good check over. Yeah, brilliant. And then if it needs anything, well, we'll order that and get it put on. Okay, proactive. And then what we do is we'll drop all the oil, change the oil. Okay, yeah. And then we'll change spark plug if it needs changing. We'll check the air filter if it needs changing. We'll change it. I'm like, okay. And then yeah, we'll give it a once over for you. We'll give it a tune up as well. I says, so you strip the carb? And oh no, but we'll just check if it's running all right. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand businesses need to make money, but when he told me that, I wasn't confident in that, and it was a lot of money. I think it was like, I can't remember. If I was guessing, I'd be doing an injustice. It was a lot of money for what it basically sounded to me. The only thing he was changing is the oil. Everything else was he was billing it for, but it might be changed or if it needs changing. So yeah, as you can imagine, I was a bit I wasn't convinced, shall I say. So what I did is I thought, right, I'm gonna have a crack at this. I bought the service kits for the strimmer and the blower, and I did that. And I bought the oil and the stuff for the mower, fair filter, and I've done it. And I've serviced my kit myself. Well, my brother helps me, but he's not mechanically trained at all. He's like me with mechanical stuff. We don't know, but we get it done and we service it. Check your tools, check your oil every now and then. Sounds daft, keep an eye on your stuff. If it starts sounding funny, look at, is it summit, is it, just look after your stuff. That's all I can say. If you look after your kit will look after you. Now, how many breakdowns have I had? Petrol gear, nothing. I've not had a mower go down due to mechanical problems. I've caused a problem. I remember as I was loading the van in, I pushed a mower, my hand slipped, and then, the blade brake at the bottom, I ended up pushing that bar and snapping it. There's like a little piece of metal that holds it on when I snapped that. To replace that, the dealer charged me £50 in labour to put that part back on, and it's still, in my opinion, it doesn't run right, but he says it's fine. But I'm not, in the position to second guess it. So look after your kit. That's all I can say. I've serviced it. I've had no problems with my petrol gear. I'll briefly talk about cordless. Cordless is up to you. Maybe in a way, if you're just starting out, it's probably the better way to go, because presumably you won't be doing much work and you can get a better feel. You've got less likely chance to run out of batteries. I'll do a separate video on cordless. I think it's going to be a lot easier. We're already at 25 minutes at this point. So whatever you choose, basically summing it up, get the best that you can afford for your business and yourself. Don't be tempted by ornaments, as I say, or shit. Don't be tempted by anything like that, and make your money last as far as it can possibly, you know, last. You know, stretch it out if you need to, because money, believe it or not, is super hard to earn. It is. It's super hard to earn. So have a good day, guys. As usual, keep on gardening.